The New York Giants finished the season 4-13. But there's optimism, right? Because, they signed Brian Daboll to be the new head coach, which is always a good thing. Brian Daboll helped develop Josh Allen, and that's what he's credited for. Helped build an offense around him. But right now, there's a big rumor swirling around, right? That Mitch Trubisky is in play to go to the Giants.
No, thank you.
And he might compete with Daniel Jones to be their starting quarterback. I mean, it might be one of those two guys. They declined Daniel Jones' fifth-year option, so, who knows? Brian Daboll might not be sold on him. So I'm going to ask you guys this question. And I asked Drew this on a basketball pod not too long ago. Mitch Trubisky might be a New York Giant. And if he competes with Daniel Jones in camp, who's going to win that competition? And who's going to be the Giants starting quarterback next season? You guys know I think it's going to be Mitch Trubisky. I think he's better than Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones is kind of your guy, so I'm curious.
How is he better than him? In what sense?
He takes care of the ball better.
That's it. That's legitimately
that's
one
a
of the
huge trait.
hugest things.
That's
takes
like
care,
maybe
takes
the
care
number
in the
one
sense,
trait.
like he fumbles the ball. Like that's
and throws
it.
interceptions.
He scaled back on the interceptions.
Correct.
He did.
Correct. And I think that he has a more exciting arm, and with the legs, they're just listen. It's basically the same. And honestly, Daniel Jones is a little bit more exciting.
He has more straight line speed. I think Trubisky's more like twitchy.
Correct. Fine. However, when it comes to throwing the football, I am taking Daniel Jones. Taking care of the football, shake your hand right now. You're right. Let's be real. He fumbles the ball a lot. Interceptions this season, he didn't play that much. But regardless, he has taken back since the start of his NFL career. I think that you bring in Trubisky, it's an unnecessary quarterback competition.
You can't have Mike Glennon be your backup. No way.
Okay, fine. I agree with that.
You said unnecessary.
No, in terms of being
Daniel
the backup.
Jones isn't one of the worst starting quarterbacks.
Yeah, come on.
He needs comp, bro.
If anything, that'll push him.
Enough of that. He's one of the worst starting quarterbacks.
He is.
When we were
That's a fact.
speaking early this past season, of him taking great strides in his game.
But it didn't happen.
Is there more than like seven quarterbacks that are without a doubt better than Daniel Jones or worse?
Worse than him?
Yeah.
There's 20 quarterbacks without a doubt that are better than Daniel Jones.
Would you say 20?
20.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's ranking in the mid-20s in terms of starting quarterbacks.
Because right now he hasn't been put in a situation to be
Tier 4. We're going to year 4.
Yeah,
going into year 4.
Yeah, but even still, has he been put in a situation that he's been put in? Excuse me.
Yes,
has he been put in a situation?
But I heard this about Darnold. I heard this about Mitch.
Please don't.
I heard this about Wentz.
Mitch was in a position to be successful. That's
all
enough.
I'm saying.
No,
like
he wasn't.
I'm
With
kind of
Chicago?
over is the situation good when it's year 4 for a quarterback?
But the Giants, legitimately, he leaves the field. He misses time. They become the worst team in the NFL.
That's what I'm saying.
When
you need someone other than Mike Glennon, because Mike Glennon's garbage.
You're 100% right, and I was wrong for that assessment. You need a backup, at least a comparable one. But to say that Daniel Jones shouldn't be the day one starter right now, where you have not,
you think he's earned the right to be the starter without a doubt and not even have an open competition?
The fact that he even kept them afloat when he was on the field,
It was 1-4.
Again, to keep them afloat in the sense of they
were competitive.
They were competitive. You can listen. That's a cute stat to make to laugh on, sure.
Funny.
But regardless of that fact, you can still be in games. The record's ass, sure, but you can still be in games.
That Washington game,
Bro, versus Atlanta, he wet the bed, though. They should have beat Atlanta.
That was the overtime game. Saquon went nuts. Beat me in fantasy. Hate to see it.
Regardless, like was that on him or was
So
that on
you're
the
going.
defense?
So you're going with Daniel Jones.
Yes.
Then.
If that wasn't obvious, I mean, I just went on a whole spiel about it.
God, I was not prepared for this question. I don't know which way, because I'd look at Daniel Jones, and if you're the Giants who have a new front office, have a new coaching staff, you're not as tied or committed to him as the previous one was, right? You weren't the one that spent a first-round pick, number 6 overall, on Daniel Jones, and then you bring Mitch Trubisky, who has experience in Daboll's offense. It wouldn't shock me if Trubisky won the quarterback battle, because he's going to take better care of the ball. I think he's going to make better decisions overall. Daniel Jones still has more potential and more upside, which makes me think that in camp, even if they're close to the same, that the coaching staff is going to side with Daniel Jones because he is at least someone who was drafted after Mitch. I know Mitch was also the 2nd overall pick. He was a highly drafted prospect too. But I think Daniel Jones and the guys in the locker room are going to side with him, so that makes me lean Daniel Jones. But, I mean, like they're both not good.
I mean, listen,
so I'm not
worst
ecstatic
case-
about either.
Worst case scenario that's going to happen is that Jones wins it and then loses it by like week 5.
That's
not
what
happening.
I also think.
It's not
I
happening.
think you could go with Daniel Jones and then bring in Trubisky rather
So
than
long
the other way
as
around.
his weapons are healthy, we saw it with Sterling Shepard when he was on
Kenny
the field.
but Kenny Galladay has not been able to stay healthy for like 3 years.
I'm with you.
Saquon, same thing,
Stop it.
bro.
It was a freak injury.
It's always a freak injury though.
No, this
bro,
was
it's
a
been
freak
like 3 freak injuries.
But this was a freak
the ACL
injury.
was too.
But okay, but you're being unfair to him.
But when you have 2 freak injuries, how freak is it?
dude, he was backpedaling. He
it was
sprained
so
his
weird.
ankle.
It was so weird. I get it,
And
but
he tore his ACL.
but
That's
it's-
really.
But
come
it's happened.
on,
I know,
bro.
but those are 2 big injuries that's been in the last
I
3
guess.
years.
A big injury is a right ankle sprain.
How many games
missed,
was he out
missed
for?
3 games.
And then he wasn't the same. I mean, he wasn't great before, except the Atlanta game.
Listen, he wasn't great because the scheme is you stack 8 against Saquon Barkley.
But how is
when
that
the
gonna be
quarterback's
different
Matt
this year?
Glennon. If Daniel Jones is on the
But
field, you
Daniel Jones is on the
automatically
field, and
can't stack 8.
Saquon wasn't great, except
That's
the
wrong.
Atlanta game.
That's wrong.
The Atlanta
That's
game, he
wrong.
was great.
Dallas, he was fine. No, I'm sorry, not Dallas. Against the Saints, he was really good as well.
Am I getting those games?
He was
Which
good.
game? Which game was the long reception? Was
The
that
Saints.
the Saints?
The
I'm thinking
Saints.
that was the Atlanta because it was both in a dome.
So listen, the Giants are kind of in a hole here. They have minus $10 million in cap space.
They're poor.
They have free agents in Nate Soldier, who he can walk.
Adios.
Kyle Rudolph is probably going to walk. Evan Ingram, I would bring back.
I think they already cut Kyle.
Kyle Rudolph, okay. Jabril Peppers, Will Hernandez, Danny Shelton, Lorenzo Carter. If it's me, I'm bringing back Lorenzo Carter and Evan Ingram. Everybody else can kind of go. There's been a lot of fuss about James Bradbury and whether or not they should cut him. Like, they'd save $12 million if they cut him. In my opinion, they should cut him. James Bradbury had one season.
Great season.
One outlier season with the Giants last season where he was a good to great corner. This year, he fell off tremendously. And you look at the year before he was with the Giants with the Panthers, he was what he was this past season, which means to me that this is who you can count on him being. He's not an elite number 1 corner. He's just not. Because of that, I would cut him. Blake Martinez is also a huge cap hit, but I
think
like
they're going to restructure.
I feel like Blake Martinez is he's a pivotal part of what they do. I think he'll stay.
I'm with you.
Sterling Shepard, I think, is going to get cut. I think he's going to
That's your guy.
Mistake.
I think
Him and Daniel Jones have a connection.
Horrible
for sure.
mistake.
I think they'd save $5 million doing so. I'm a big Sterling Shepard fan, but I think them having Galladay, Slayton, Tony, having 2 picks within the top 10 so they can maybe draft a receiver.
Kills me to see him get as much
The
opportunity.
Galladay contract is bad. So bad.
They can do without Sterling, I believe. But they need edge, they need corner, they need tight, they need right. They need to fix the right side
they need
of their
interior line.
offensive lineman. I think Nick Gates is okay. He got injured last year. He was okay.
His pass block was bad.
Shane LeMahieu and Andrew Thomas, the left side of the offensive line is fine.
I'm with you.
So they have the 5th and 7th pick in the draft. If it's me, I'm going Evan Neal or Ike Nkwonu, Charles Cross.
You're not thinking Tyler?
Not
Linderbaum,
that
not
high.
a 7.
Not that high.
Okay.
I will say this, though. I wouldn't be shocked if the Giants took Sauce at 5.
I wouldn't be upset.
I think Sauce Gardner, if they cut James Bradbury, it makes a lot of sense to then draft Sauce so he's your number 1 corner. Adoree Jackson had a good year last year. So now you have Sauce and Adoree. I think that makes their defense pretty formidable. And if Brian Dable can get the best out of Mitch in this offense, then the Giants can compete. Like they can compete.
Gates' pass grade was bad. It was in the 50s. I understand.
And Shane LeMahieu played 1 game, and he was good. But even still, in 2020, bro, he was literally the last ranked guard in the entire NFL.
No,
What's funny? Did I say his name?
It's just funny. He played 1 game.
He played 1 game.
Who was it against?
It was week 1.
Oh,
Who they play? I don't know. And he was a 5th round pick. It's not like he was this highly touted
forget
guy.
him. Yeah, they need an offensive line, bro.
Their interior
need it.
ranked dead last in unit pass block grade. They need to completely overhaul it, but I agree. They're not taking Linderbaum at 5 or 7. Doesn't really make any sense.
5,
now,
I think. 5, I agree with you.
But
I don't
if-
think they go
if
Linderbaum,
Neal-
but
What's
7,
the difference between 5 and 7 though?
it's not. It's not.
Sauce might not be there at 7.
I think you need someone because Neal or Icky could play guard. So they could take him, play him at tackle, but they also need him to play guard. Then it makes more sense. Linderbaum's
fair
not
enough,
popping
fair
out
enough.
to
So,
either
you know,
tackle position.
Daniel Jeremiah in his mock draft had the Giants going with receiver at 7, Drake London.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about them
That
going
feels
receiver?
similar to what they have in Kenny Galladay already.
But
A
you
downfield
need-
stretch,
you
someone with the
absolutely
big
need
body.
alignment. If I'm the Giants, you absolutely need an
So
alignment.
are you guys taking the third tackle? Are you taking a Charles Cross, someone who could, is a really good pass blocker, but he's probably a bit of a, I don't know. I've seen some boards with Charles Cross. PFF has him as the 5th ranked.
You think Icky and Neal are both gone at that pick? It's possible, I guess.
The way it's looking, it feels like it's more likely that Icky will be gone than Neal over these last couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel stronger that Icky might even go before him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they could address interior line in the second round. Someone, what's his name?
No, they need to fix the defense.
Zion Johnson or Kenyon Green. They both have flexibility to play guard. They play guard and tackle, I want to say. They just haven't played center. I believe Kenyon Green had the most bench reps at the
I'm going to be honest. If I'm New York, I'm trying to trade back and just get more picks in this draft.
I don't hate that either.
Not a bad idea.
They have linebacker is another need. I know they're getting Blake Martinez back, but they were the 3rd grade unit. They're not going to... Blake? That's your guy. That's your guy.
Yeah, he's good. I like Blake.
They're not probably going to spend... I don't see them paying up for a Devontae Campbell or this one of these big inside linebackers. Not there's a lot, but someone in the second round possibly, an edge as well. They were the 4th lowest.
But they have a
pass
star
rush grade.
there. They have Leonard Williams.
Yeah. he's
Kayvon Thibodeau at 5, I don't hate also.
Yeah, for sure.
If they went Kayvon, or if they went Sauce and then Kayvon at 7, that's probably best case.
Their interior is solid with Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence. That is as firm. And Aziz had a good year. He had 8 sacks. Lorenzo Carter, I believe, was second with 5, but they were still bottom 10 in sacks. They need another edge press.
I feel like if the Giants fans, if they don't draft an offensive line, they're going to
go nuts.
They're going to be
go
upset.
crazy.
And I feel as if Icky and Neal are both gone, then it makes sense. But if one of those two guys are available,
there's a lot of people high on Charles Cross just because he played at Mississippi State and air raid offense, so he's a really good pass protector.
Okay.
But I feel like there's been a lot. I've seen him as high as number 5 on PFF, but I've seen him in the 20s as well. So there's a.
I
large
wouldn't
consensus.
mind Cross either. I feel like me personally, I'd go offensive line, defensive player, whether that be defensive line or a cornerback.
I think they could go best player available at both spots.
Do you think Sauce would be there at 7?
I think if Sauce there at 5, they should take Sauce.
You think Cross would be there at 7?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. All right, fine.
Is Carolina picking at 6?
Let me look real fast. I'm blanking off the top of my head.
I want to say Carolina's picking at 6. They could go O-line too. I think the Giants also need receiver.
I think Carolina 100% goes O-line.
Yeah, and
100%.
Cross could go at 6 then.
Yeah.
They might be screwed. They might take Sauce or Cross.
Because Carolina does not need a corner, excuse me.
So I know what you're saying. Yeah, so they could go tackle, assume they pass up on him, and but still, Gilmore's a free agent. Deontay Jackson's a free agent.
You still just drafted Horn top 10.
You did. That's true. So maybe don't use a premium pick, but I do think they need a receiver because Kenny Galladay can't stay healthy and it's a bad contract. They want to get off that ASAP. Tony has been explosive, but again, his first year wasn't able to stay healthy. We're talking about cutting Sterling Shepard, and now you're looking at Slayton and who? Receiver, I think.
You're right.
I think Sauce, a tackle, and a receiver. 2 of those 3, I think that's where they should go at 5 or 7.